Some people don't find their path, they claim it early. Today's guest knew exactly who he was at 18, and instead of waiting for permission, he jumped straight into the fire. Former student, champion wrestler, one of the most well-known promoters in the Hamptons and New York City, loved, polarizing, strategic, and maybe, just maybe, a future leader in a much bigger arena. Back to Class welcomes Joe Gannone.
Nice to meet you guys.
Boy.
Happy to be back. My man, Mr. Hamlin.
All right, Joe, we're going to take a little snapshot of where you are now. Okay, so somebody who didn't know your past or knows nothing about you, how would you describe what you do on a daily basis? It's probably something different every day.
Something different every day. Yeah, I mean, I like working on different projects. Every day is kind of...
Actually, did I mention you're a club promoter in the opening? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to just jump in.
So every day it's like just putting the pieces together, building new projects. I'm involved in a few different brands and companies that are a little different from each other. I'm a partner in this one brand called Sessions, which is a huge, more so big rooms. I'm talking 1,500 person, 2,000, sometimes 3,000 person parties. It's more of a huge activation, big production, huge DJ. My partners in that are DJ Theo.
Yeah.
One of the most well-known DJs on Long Island.
Actually, a funny story. My daughter and her girlfriends were going out to the Hamptons this summer for a DJ Theo and Joe Gannone event. And they're all, how are we going to get in, blah, blah, blah. And I go, I'm like this with DJ Theo. Yeah. And they're like, what? Like, well, I know a guy who knows DJ Theo, but I called you and you called me right back. So I've never had more credibility with my daughter than I did that night. Like,
you got pulled now.
I could, be a teacher. I could get all these accolades, but Joe Gannone called me back about a club event. So I was, up a couple notches with my daughter.
That's awesome. Yeah, anytime. We gotta get you DJing now.
Yeah, well, I'll have the time now.
Yeah. So so that brand Sessions, and the whole thing is that I'm like the promoter of the group. And then, we're a promotional group, all of us. And it's myself, Theo, and Scotty Campbell, who's one of the biggest hospitality figures on Long Island. He owns a bunch of places, and a lot of the places we work at are actually, and do these big events that are at his places, more so in the summer.
Now, was it easy to get access to those guys, or did you have to sort of work your way up to them, to that level?
Family, friends, and stuff. Huge clubs, like a big family.
I've known Joe for a long time. Joe would go up and talk to anybody about anything. So Joey always had this confidence about him, and not a borderline brashness, but not I wouldn't call it cockiness, like to the point where it was off-putting. He just always had a belief in himself, which you could see. All right, Joe. The nightlife, the access, the big rooms. What's some stuff that we might not understand about your work?
So
it's not just a big party.
It's not just a big party. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of it's very stressful. You have to move at a high pace. It's fun to party, and I party with the best of them. It's no secret. But when you're responsible for thousands of people, and especially a year now, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people coming through the doors of the places you're working at and venues we're involved with day to day and stuff like that. It's a lot of coordinating. You're dealing with a lot of personalities, dealing with people.
Insurance, all.
Yeah. Insurance, a lot of finances, big overhead, big risk, staffing. Some of our bigger events, whether if it's with Sessions or my other company, Social Pressure, which is a little different. It's more of hands-on staffing, weeklies, revenue increasing. You're dealing with some of the more intimate and or huge parties, sometimes 100 to 150 people on the floor between bartenders, security, staffing. So
wow,
it's just coordinating all day.
Wow. In the end, that's a lot of moving parts. So I had a restaurant with about 18 employees, and that was crazy. And actually, Joe just became a partner in the food truck that's opening up.
Yeah,
He didn't have enough to do. Sloppy Joe's hot dog from the back of a brewery.
No, it's actually behind South Shore Iron in Main Street. The Buciellos own the gym.
Okay.
And they had a food truck there, and it did really well. And then the guy hasn't been there for a long time, so I was talking to the Buciellos, and they're like, "We should put a food truck here." I was like, "All right, let's do it." So,
necessity breeds opportunity.
Yep.
Okay, you build partnerships and you've been in big rooms. When did you realize that influence beats attention anytime?
Well, I say a lot of the influence I feel like I was able to kind of create was honestly from wrestling. From I'll get into the wrestling stuff later, but having
It's a very tight-knit
yeah,
community and world.
yeah. So sustaining that scene of wrestling and getting through that, and also networking and being around a ton of people, but then also kind of being in such an aggressive sport made me feel like I had an opportunity once I got to the level to be a leader in different ways. And socially is honestly a huge part of that. So when I kind of took that mentality and put it into nightlife and then into
So
business.
basically, you're going into the ring every night.
Yeah, every night, every day. I'm involved in a lot of other stuff too, outside of nightlife, just putting the pieces together. So kind of being able to, I said to myself, if I could move hundreds of people, thousands of people into a room and then we could keep them occupied and dancing and have a good time, then I could do that in other industries and businesses as well. So that's kind of how I feel the influence came.
So you're leaning towards hospitality and maybe even seminars for businesses and
Hospitality. A lot of my world is politics. Deal with a lot of politics.
yeah, we're gonna talk about that too. That's very cool. What does responsibility look like when literally thousands of people are depending on you? Like, you don't think it when you walk into a club about fire hazards and safety codes and da 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 da. How seriously do you take that responsibility?
Well, I take it serious, and I have a team in every place. So we take it very serious, because if you don't have safety and you're not doing the right thing, you're going to get shut down. Townships and villages going to be upset with you. Partners and owners are going to be upset with you.
You have contacts with the towns that you're working with now. They've dealt with you numerous times, so it's a little bit easier for you now.
I plead the fifth.
Oh, the politician angle. All right, we're gonna go back to you. You sort of knew what you were gonna do. I think I said this to you when you were a kid.
Yeah.
You were having one of your moments where you were probably the smartest guy in the room, but I said either you're gonna be like the head of a major corporation doing wonderful things, or you're gonna run the Gambino family one day. Like, you have skills and talents, and you could use them for good or evil.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you've chosen the good part of it. When did you know like this was what you wanted to do? You were certain this was your future.
Actually, beginning of COVID, I was working for a group at one of the biggest venues in New York City, and called Sony Hall, and it was a 1,500 person venue, if not bigger. The Sony Hall in Midtown, and they started a dinner party because people couldn't get up, so you would sit down and you bring people wanted to go out so bad. They were spending, just like you see now, but they were spending a crazy amount of money on dinner, bottles, stuff like that. So when I got really involved there, and I was back from Providence during that, sucked because we couldn't wrestle, we couldn't do much. And then I really was in a weird period just like everyone else, and I put all my eggs into that, into some you see this, people didn't do the right thing during COVID.
But did you have that inkling, like when you were a teenager, you wanted to have that in your future, or did you really not know what you wanted to
I
make?
didn't really know, but now I look back, I did was
Like, you were a born club promoter. Like,
we
walked around the hallways.
We had the biggest parties in high school.
Yeah. So it's all relative.
Yeah. So but what I realized was during that, when I started really taking it serious, like, and when you're in the business, there's a lot of guys that are club promoters. We're the company now we're promotional marketing. We have a team of promoters and stuff, and myself and everything. But when you're dealing with that in the business, you're dealing with typically a lot of not all, but a lot of people that drug addicts, alcoholics.
It lends itself to.
Yeah, and people that don't really take it serious. And I party, like I said. That's not, everyone knows that.
Yeah.
But when I approach it just like wrestling, took it serious and used my network, my resources and stuff. And I started seeing it, towards the end of COVID, when we got through that dinner party stuff, and then we made it the hottest club in Manhattan, and I was working there and was able to bring in hundreds of people and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in clients and sales. I was like, all right, this is this is pretty serious, and the money's good.
And you're good at it.
Yeah,
It's like what you like to do.
yeah.
Most people at 18, 20 years old are still trying to figure out what made you jump in. Just the opportunity of it.
Opportunity, and actually one thing I never really talk about that now I'm happy to talk about is that we all have a little ADHD. Um, I certainly have it. I was always bouncing off the walls in high school and stuff, and I move 100 miles per hour, but I embrace that more than ever.
I've heard about that so often, where it's like the scarlet letter when you're growing up, and then so many people are able to channel it into a positive and really use that as a fuel. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wrestling demands discipline, control, composure. How do you use that in your daily business life?
I try to be organized. I'm not the most organized person when it comes to this stuff because I'm flying all over the place every day, getting things done, but everything gets done in the end. So I feel like that's like a wrestling match. Also, just like wrestling, moves, you have to put moves together in order to get to a takedown to get to a win. So that's kind of how I look at the systems I
Wow, so that's very profound.
The systems I built for every different thing we're working on is I kind of know what move and component you got to get to in order to get to the finish line. So that, and then
that comes with trial and error.
Yeah, trial and error. There's a lot of errors, just like everyone. And then I also see when I sit down, I always think when I sit down into a meeting or I sit down with somebody new, and it's something serious, I look at it as like this is a wrestling match where you just shook hands or whistling off now. Yeah. You got to win.
Did you ever doubt yourself on this journey, or did you pretty much when you got a taste of it, you knew this was you're going to be successful?
Yeah, I doubted myself. Just like it's also not fun to hear for years. Kind of crick has kind of just stopped now, but hearing for years, oh, you're in a nightclub all the time, you're partying, what are you doing this? You're going to do this for the rest of your life. When you're going out and Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and that's one. And then two is like what it becomes doubtful is like there's been nights where we've had thousands of people and did hundreds of thousands of dollars, in sales at over a weekend period. And then there's been nights where you do something and you physically can't control the weather, you can't control optics or politics, or sometimes once in a while people just don't show up. What are you going to do?
Yeah. So you have to take the good with the bad, I guess. You're back in school, right? You have a very big personality, right? But the teachers liked you. You weren't a bad kid. You probably got under some people's nerves, but from what I remember, the teachers knew you as you, and not a meaningful bad bone in your body. And I know for me, when I had you in entrepreneurship class, I loved hearing you go and listening because it was the made my day, and then you interacting with the other guys and, coming in with some god awful outfit for on a Friday or whatever and thinking you look great. So, that was, you had a really big personality, but I think the teachers really respected you in that, you didn't use it, use it against them or anything. So any teachers that really, had an impact on you that sort of not made you who you are, but sort of, maybe guided you along the way well, I know your wrestling coach had a huge impact on your life.
Yeah.
Well, wrestling's that sport where, it's indescribable, what you guys go through and what you put through and the sacrifice. And I told a story about a wrestling match on my last podcast. I ended up in a pretzel and just getting the crap kicked out of me. But just to cut weight at that age. And I remember one time Buciello was in my class in 7th grade, and he had chicken delight or Greek bites delivered to the room.
Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah, probably a police escort. He's eating this grilled chicken in the classroom, 7th grade. He's got the square jaw, right? It looks like a man. And I go, when was the last time you had a piece of birthday cake? And he looked at me. He was like 2nd grade.
It's great.
And I was like, Jesus Christ.
Adam's like my third brother, me, my brother, and him. But he's missed almost every Halloween with us wrestling at Super 32 and going there and winning it,
Yeah.
and to sacrifice alone as a kid missing Halloween,
You don't walk around as Spider-Man.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, not to belittle your career. You made it to the state's finals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe had a great run. Exactly. He put down the hair gel for a weekend and really focused, and he did really well.
Yeah.
So you didn't mention the teacher.
Oh, so yeah. I mean, there was a bunch of teachers, there's too many to name. I feel like overall, I can't be one of those guys that never would say, total opposite. I would say, oh, like all the teachers of high school doubted me, whatever,
Yeah.
I loved high school. I loved all the teachers. I mean, it was a blast,
I don't think too many people doubted you. It was just what you were going to be.
Yeah.
What you were going to
I joked around a lot with you, Mr. Scholler,
Yeah.
had a good time.
Scholler has had a big impact on a lot of kids. A lot of kids that you don't think would pick him as their teacher, they pick him.
Yeah.
And a lot of teachers, a lot of kids. So
yeah, there was a ton of teachers, and I mean, especially what I loved about eSport too is the community of the teachers and the coaching and stuff, especially as a student athlete. It was, even if some of the teachers weren't coaches, they were so supportive. Like, I still talk to, to social media. I stay in touch with a ton of teachers, Mr. Rackley, Mr. Loftus, and, everyone's always bunch of teachers. Everyone's super supportive.
Well, that's what this whole podcast is about. Was I friended so many of you guys on Facebook to sell you houses in the future, but I started to notice all these great stories that are going on. I'm like, wow. And so I said, one day in the doctor's office, just hit my head like, back to class with Mr.H. I got to visit. So I love, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I love this idea.
No, it's a great.
This is what I get to do. So
it's awesome.
We've actually been talking to people. People have mentioned it as a possible cable TV series type thing, or even a network of teachers. There's a teacher in every high school that has impact, and you could do this literally in every school.
Yeah,
and just make it a network of positive teacher stories. But I'm a single guy by myself. I don't really have the resources. It's just me and ChatGPT. So I'm looking to partner with some people that can maybe help me get there. But we'll
talk about
cross that bridge when we get there. Throw it out to the universe. You never know what can happen. Oh, what did high school teach you about reading people? That's very important in your business. You must deal with a lot of quote unquote used car salesmen, and you don't want to be perceived as that. You want to be trustworthy. Like they're probably I know I had a Boar's Head route in the Hamptons, and restaurants opened every year and closed. And
chasing money around.
Is this I'm chasing money? Is this guy where's he gonna open next year and screw me, type thing?
Honestly, this is knocking anybody, not to knock one thing about high school is and even college. I don't think reading people in that I learned from education.
No,
I really believe.
No, the school didn't teach you, but
no,
I was being in the school teaching.
Yeah, I mean, I was always a little bit more, street kid.
Yeah, definitely.
We did grow up in Manorville, but you know what I'm saying. So I kind of
that was no joke.
No, was okay. is
no
joke. Yeah. So I feel that being in different situations, and there was a period which we'll talk about now that I got involved. Nothing really bad, but some bad stuff. And now I look back and said to myself, thank God I didn't get in trouble for that. I mean, I was student athlete, wrestler, took scholarship. I finished college at St. John's and government, and I own businesses. But now to take it with a learning lesson,
that's a great lesson to the kids, because sometimes you do get away with something, and it doesn't bite you, but more often than not it does. And the decisions you're making as you get older will, like now, if something's on social media, you put something silly there, you put a picture there. We know somebody in the wrestling community years ago put a picture up there and lost quite a sizable offer. So you have to understand that you get one chance to go through this life. It's very fragile, as I can tell you after my personal experience a couple of weeks ago. But that's very reflective that you look back, and you have to understand that, because now moving forward, you can't slip up like that in the 30s and 40s, because you're going to have more at stake. You're going to have a family, a house, and things like that. So,
But back to that, with the that's a huge lesson. But also back to reading people too. From being around bad people,
yeah,
also as a positive thing to take
yeah,
out
for
of that
sure.
is also taught me how to read a lot of bad people.
Yeah.
So, but when you're in situations,
Don't BS a BSer, right?
yeah, and when you're
If you're around it, you can sniff right through it a mile away.
so that's like the biggest thing. And it's like when you're around, you don't want to be around that stuff. But
Uh-huh.
I feel from kind of being a little bit more in social environments and being around a lot of people, and then even being involved in good and bad stuff, it taught me how to meet so many people and read different people.
100%. You wear a lot of different hats.
Yeah.
I was like that in college. I could sit in a room with the president as the senior class president. I could sit in the basement as the grand lush of Itapa Keg.
Yeah.
Like like you have to be able to navigate different things in life. But the thing is, you're appropriate in the proper setting.
Yeah.
Like you can't you can't cross paths because it doesn't always work out that well. All right, 12-year-old version of Joe is sitting here right now.
Yep.
What do you say to him?
I would say everything's gonna work out.
That's a common theme.
Was always very anxious,
Yeah.
and you're thinking 12 years old, when you're in that grade and you're kind of just getting exposed to right before teen, being a teen and stuff, you're in, you're starting to hit that tier, look back now, and it's like it's very anxious,
Uh-huh.
I would say slow it down, don't grow up too fast.
And this is coming from a guy who, was wearing Capizios and sunglasses in like 8th grade, and he was anxious. So
Yeah.
outward looking at Joe Gannone, he had it all together, and
No.
The
Yeah.
2 lawyers at home and cul-de-sac, and
Mhm.
and he had a different experience, and he didn't let that past define him either. Which I always tell people, you can't. It's a rough patch you're going through, but I'm going through a rough patch right now. But I can't let my wife's passing define me for the next 5 years. I have to learn and grow, and
Yep.
and
It's very important.
and sort of learn and take this as a learning thing, and maybe appreciate the things I have a little more. Not that I didn't appreciate her, but I thought I did. But when they're gone, you really appreciate them. So, all right. Advice for the next group. What do you tell young Joe Gannone, who knows it all at 12 but isn't there yet?
Slow down, don't grow up too fast. And not everybody has to be a business owner or whatever, but find something you'd love to do, and if it doesn't feel like work, then it's probably the right fit.
Yeah, that's perfect. Great advice. What do you say to the kid who really hasn't found their voice yet?
Again, don't grow up too fast, but also stay the course and do the right thing. I thought it was cool at one point. I'm telling you now, it's not cool to be a loser. When I say that, doing the wrong thing, yeah, we all make mistakes and stuff, but no drugs, definitely no drugs, no crime, do the right thing. And it's not cool to be that guy. What's cool is, to be a guy who built something. Or
I mean, think about how you live your life now.
Yeah.
When that phone rings, there's no, oh, who is this? Who might I have to be deceitful to because of something I did 3 weeks ago?
Yep.
If you're living a good life and
Yeah.
on the up and up, and that phone rings, there's no background noise. There's no filters.
No, you don't want to wake up every day and have to worry about being chased around from legally this, that, people. It's easier in life to do the right thing.
Yep. All right. Easier in life to do the right thing, as per Joe Gannone. Watch for Joe out there. Thanks for coming back to class, Joe Gannone.
It's a pleasure to be
here. Gave some great pearls of wisdom today, and see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye, guys. Take care.